few benefits. Data security isn't one of them. Until now. Presenting CloudHub Meets. A safe, simple, and secure meeting platform that puts you in complete control of your data. With HIPAA-compliant paid and free plans, cheaper than Zoom, there are no apps to install, no saved data, and no big brother tracking your every move. Stop worrying if the services you use are using you, and sign up for CloudHub Meets today at cloudhubmeets.com.
Way we've ever had on this channel. We're giving one of you this fully customized Chevrolet Silverado Trail Boss Z71 thanks to Payne Safari. America's not as safe as it once was and is getting crazier by the day with open borders and ridiculous policies that let criminals walk away scot-free after committing crimes, which is why always having a way to defend yourself is a good idea. Guns may be the best solution for taking out bad guys, but not everybody can or wants to carry a gun. That's where this incredible flashlight comes into play. It's called the Shockwave Torch by Payne Safari, and this innocent looking and super bright light is anything but harmless. It's so powerful, it has this built-in safety and only charges when plugged into the wall. But press this button and it will discharge a brutal stun gun that will turn a 350-pound man into a crying baby. Equip you and your loved ones with a Shockwave Torch. These are a must-have for anyone, from moms, dads, daughters, you name it. It's the simplest thing that you could ever own to help boost your chances so some dirty thug doesn't turn you into a victim. Get an exclusive discount and extra entries this week only when you use our link below. Don't wait, because this giveaway ends in a few weeks. We've ever had on this channel. We're giving one of you this fully customized Chevrolet Silverado Trail Boss Z71 thanks to VNSH. I love this thing. The VNSH holster is the most comfortable holster I've ever worn. It's made with premium materials that enhance all-day carry for the everyday American. This is an incredibly versatile holster that works with 99% of modern handguns, allows you to carry 2 extra magazines, and can be worn in just about any configuration you can imagine. To enter, all you have to do is click the link in the description and get yourself the most comfortable holster you've ever worn with a money-back guarantee, and VNSH will hook you up. They're knocking $50 off the retail price for anyone who buys using our special link below. Get an exclusive discount and extra entries this week only when you use our link below. Don't wait, because this giveaway ends in a few weeks.
Oh no, we lost Doc P as soon as we came on. All right, well, thank you for, oh, there we go. We got you back, Doc. We've got you back. This landed the free with Doc P Chambers. Thank you for tuning in today. We are catching Doc while he is on the road. He loves doing this and informing you guys of everything he knows, so he didn't want to miss it. So he is currently driving, but that doesn't make the show any less good. It's still going to be a good show. So how are you doing, Doc?
Happy to be alive. We've had quite a week over here, a little different than the usual, and it's a really it's a sad story, but it's also a story of hope, and there's a story of standing up to tyranny. It's going to be good.
Yes. Well, I will be bringing up assets as you mentioned them. I'll show them on the screen. So you take the floor, Doc. I'll be here in the background listening and doing things as they go. It does look like
people trying to call through. Sorry.
It's all right. It's all right. That's, if you guys see his screen goes black, it's because he's so popular and famous that he's getting all these calls. So, oh no, we can hear you.
I don't hear you.
Uh-oh. Can you hear me now?
Well,
I'm notifying that we can hear him.
anyone? Bueller?
You there, Doc? Can you hear us? Doc? Here, guys, I'm going to give him a phone call. Here we go. It's going to mess up his video, but thank you for your patience, everybody. Make sure to check out the links in the description. I tell you guys, man, we are under such a spiritual attack and technology attack. My mouse just died for my computer, so now I have to use my touch screen and touch all over. Doc is backed out. He's going to come back in. Hopefully that'll resolve the issue. Obviously, people are going to call him. He's an important person, so we can't be mad at that. But there's a few things that I wanted to tell you guys. Make sure you click those links. It helps keep us in business. When you use there he is. Hey, Doc. Now can you hear us now?
Yes, I got you. Lima Charlie.
Okay, great. And we can hear
Chicken.
you too.
All right. So let me give you guys a once over the world real quick on what happened this past week. I'm going to go fast and furious here. I'm in a bad zone. It's typical, you know. I wasn't planning this today, but I had to move, so here I am. All right, so Ted Nugent gave me a call at the house not too long ago. What was it? Wednesday. And we had to go help him out with a high fence owner. The high fence would be for the deer breeding business in the state of Texas. Used to be a pretty large business. But what we have is we have some policies, some laws that are really archaic and that take sovereignty away from landowners, straight up. So the Texas Parks and Wildlife enforced something that had been going to court between the RW Ranch in Terrell, Texas, and the Parks and Wildlife. It's gone all the way to the Texas Supreme Court. Essentially, Mr. Robert Williams, who owns the RW Ranch, has been raising deer for breeding and also for hunters and for sales to other deer breeders for 45 years at least. And 90-year-old man, he's over 90. His daughter, she's a geneticist. She was trained early on. They've been raising this particular herd for some time. They've got it in a very healthy type herd, genetics. Well, they lost the court case that went to the Texas Supreme Court, and it said basically they have to let them come in to test them for something called chronic wasting disease. If you think back a few years back, well, a lot of years back now, mad cow disease. That's a spongiform encephalopathy type disease caused by something that, much like the COVID virus, can't be isolated. And no tests have been shown to any of the people that we talked to that were there when they came to enforce the eradication of a herd. And that evening, under the cover of darkness, 249 deer were slaughtered, essentially, in what would look like some kind of a horror movie, a satanic blood ritual. It was pathetic. But I'm going to back up now and explain how we got involved. So Ted Nugent, Uncle Ted, got a hold of us and said, could we go and be security for the manager, the owner of the ranch, and actually make sure that all things are done properly. So my associate Mike Hall came with me. We have a level 3 Texas Council on Law Enforcement approved licensure to enforce laws in the state of Texas for somebody that would make a contract with you. The Williams did. So they did not want them coming onto the property if they did not have the appropriate paperwork. They weren't going to try to shut them out because it's already gone to the Supreme Court. They've spent inordinate amounts of money trying to fight this case. And they showed up. They didn't have the warrant original individual that came up. There was no paperwork, so they were not allowed in. However, the paperwork showed up. It took about 2 hours for it to get there. And it showed up, and then they stacked up and came in. There were 68 Texas Parks and Wildlife individuals that came in. So shooters, biologists, and ancillary staff. So 68 of them came in there. They put them all in a pen. They waited until cover of darkness and then commenced on shooting the animals. Mr. Williams had offered up to do it more humanely. There were several different options, but that is not what they chose to do. They had the method that they used. So then when we held it off, or dragged our feet, I should say, long enough, and allowed for, and God showed up that morning, by the way. There was a tornado that came through town in Terrell. It didn't hit anything in town, but it hit the power boxes, and some trees were down. Excuse me, don't want to get hit by a semi. Okay, here we go. So the state workers had the option of using their big trucks. There was, like I said, 68 of them with multiple vehicles with trailers to haul off carcasses. Instead of helping the community to clean up that morning, they decided to wait out the storm and hunker down in their hotel. And so it put them off a little bit to the right, which was good. It allowed us to get set up in there. But ultimately, they came through the gate. They didn't help the community. It's not like the National Guard or the Department of Public Safety or the game wardens who would all go out there and help. No, the Parks and Wildlife, they wanted to make sure they got in there and got their job done. They wanted to eradicate this herd. So they did. Along those lines, that gave time for Senator Bob Hall. Now, he's the senator of that part of Texas, state senator. He was able to come in, a man of honor, Citadel graduate, thought very highly of in the state of Texas as a constitutional legislator. I've met him out numerous times at speaking engagements with citizens groups, and he is driving all over the state, kind of like me, talking to citizens and making sure that they're covered down on, even out of his district. He will go out of his way to hear what people have to say, and then he'll stay to the wee hours and discuss with people what's going on with some of the dysfunctional activities that take place at legislative levels, both at state and federal. All right, so he goes in and says, "I'm coming in here. We're going to come into the visqueen covered fencing where they're conducting the operation inside, where they're killing the deer, and then going to cut open the calabaria, the top of the skull, and get to the brain and take a portion of the brainstem out to send for testing." Now, here's the genius thing about it. If, let's say, one or two of them are tested and they test positive, all right, so 249 deer, we kill them, and because the state believes that the Parks and Wildlife own the deer, even though the ranchers raise the deer, buy the deer, trade the deer, do whatever they do, they don't actually own them. It's more like they're renting them. And so other contiguous states don't do this, but Texas is doing this. And I think it has a lot to do with the Texas Parks and Wildlife Board, the members of the board, 4 of which are have their own high fence operations themselves, or low fence operations. So that board is, like I said, 4 of them billionaires, or at least 2 of them that we know of. King Ranch folks, Bass folks. Look, when your neighboring ranches that do the same operation you do get tested for chronic wasting disease and you don't, and you sit on the board, I got a problem with that. I got a big problem with that. And the truth is coming to light, and so it's gonna happen after this. The other thing is that Senator Hall, when he went into that compound where all the dead deer were now, and they were stacking them up, getting ready to cut into them, he told them he's coming in. They said no. He said, "That's a felony. I'm a senator, and this is actually my district, and I'm coming in there." And some of what they did could potentially be crossover into criminal. Definitely in a civil sense, there are lawsuits coming. We do have the names of all the individuals that came through that fence that conducted this operation. If there is anything nefarious that was found, they will be sued individually, civilly. Now, go back to the chronic wasting disease real quick. Mr. Williams, and I know a little bit about the business in that I have friends that have them, and I've assisted with treating deer and transporting them. It's not like moving cattle. They don't just get it in the back of the truck. I mean, they can jump the trailer if they wanted to. So you have to do it with sometimes with darting them with ketamine, or put them into chutes that act out where they don't freak out, because they will literally stress themselves to death. Deer in captivity are looking for ways to die, and chronic wasting disease is not one of them, because when a deer, most of them, in Mr. Williams's experience, that they claimed were positive for chronic wasting disease, the deer died somewhere between the age of 13 and 15, which is a pretty good age for a deer. Right? You can make a prion sandwich of this particular strain, and you can eat it and it won't hurt a human. All right, so let's just cut to the chase here. It doesn't hurt people. It doesn't necessarily kill deer. It causes some wasting, maybe. It might cause a little dementia. Well, unless the deer are running for president of the deer population, I guess dementia is not really a requirement or anything that would hurt them. So what we have is, like Cool Hand Luke, a failure to communicate. And what we have, another line from Cool Hand Luke, an old movie. Look it up. It's great. Watch it. Paul Newman. Another line is, just because you're saying that's your job doesn't make it right. I'm just doing my job. Just doing my job. All of them said the same thing. We went inside there with the deer breeders, and they took their cameras out. And they told them they're going to film it. So we have a full documentation of what took place behind what they waited to darkness to do. And it's barbaric. And the other states around us don't do that. What we have is you can call out some that are sick and maybe send those off, but much like COVID, see the principles that are going here, the techniques and tactics and practices. Much like COVID, they just go ahead and test every one of them, right? But the only way to test every one of them is you got to shoot them and cut part of their brain out. So if there were 0 of them that were tested positive, you just killed all of his livelihood, of his 40-something years of livelihood. Doesn't make a lick of sense. It also doesn't make sense to not to be. What are the terms that the deep state or the DEI people like to use? Equity. There doesn't seem to be a lot of equity in this. So Mr. Bass and others that sit on that board, why is it? I'd like you to explain to us, why is it, sir, that there's preferential treatment for those members that sit on the board? Why is it? Why is it that you weren't tested? I'd like to know. So would the other deer breeders inside there, because this is just starting. This snowball is just starting, and some of these people on this board are members of other boards of businesses and CEOs, and those particular corporations are heavily DEI focused, woke, and morally broken, morally corrupt, in my opinion. So you can see where it's coming from, where it's driving it. You can see that the legislators that have allowed this to take place in the past are part of the problem. The Phelan's out there, the Speaker of the House for the state of Texas that somehow squeaked by after his failed coup attempt against A.G. Paxton. What we have here, again, Texas, is a failure to communicate. This is just a symptom of the disease. Unfortunately, the symptom ruined the livelihood of some beautiful people that were good stewards of God's creation. And the evil ones that came in that completely slaughtered them are all on video. All their names are available, and civil lawsuits will most likely come. And if there's anything to be done criminally, then it's definitely being looked into. So I think that we can go over any question that you got popped up on there. I'd like to hear it, and then we've got about 7 minutes, and I'm going to be at the exit where I got to get out.
Okay. All right. Thank you, Doc. Something I just wanted to reassure our people viewing this is they've pulled this before, zombie deer disease. In 2019 here, ABC News was doing the fear mongering, saying it's spreading across the United States, trying to scare more people. So this is just it again. Right. Did you ever hear about this in 2019? I didn't. So it's just more.
They are not going outside of those to look at the population to check any of those deer. They're only going after the people that have require a certification or a license to run this kind of an operation. So they've got them controlled, just like they did in the military when they went and illegal mandates of vaccine with regulations, and you've rights. Legally plundered is what the term is that Frederic Bastiat used in 1700 something, the French Revolution. Legal plunder, it's a thing.
No, we lost him. All right. His service was kind of going in and out. My apologies, everybody, but we do what we can in the, technological age we live in. But thank you, everybody, for joining us. If Doc pops back in here and within a minute or so, we'll continue. But he said, oh, there he is. He's back. There you are, Doc.
Yeah.
Yeah, you had low signal, so it's just the area you were in.
Yeah, that should be okay. But thanks for bringing that up. Yeah, that's an important thing. It's the people that have anything on the line with a license or a certification or a license to transport. They know that their livelihood is in this, and they can control them because these are medium level. Let me give you an example. 3-4 years ago, there were in the thousands of deer breeders. Now it's just over 200. So
well,
they're slowly
maybe we need to put this in perspective for some people, because some people don't even care about deer. They live in the cities. They don't even know about deer. Let's frame this up for cats or dogs. Let's say they were trying to say there was some disease spreading against dogs, and they need to kill your dog to find out if your dog had it or not. It's the same logic.
You're right. And where we live, and in many places in the country, when you go to the grocery store, there's packaged venison. People eat venison. It's for real. And like with Mr. Williams, when he allows wounded warriors to come in and hunt, and then they can't take the deer, or they don't want the deer, it goes to a food shelter, right? It's not wasted. It's actually against the law. It is a felony, or I believe it's a misdemeanor, to waste deer meat if you shoot a deer or kill one. You're not supposed to just waste it. So when they just went in there, shot all those deer to pull out a brainstem, and then push them in a pit, like they just came out of a concentration camp, and just push them in a pit, they committed a crime.
Wow. Yeah. Do you think that they're just doing this to impact the food supply again? Like they're just trying to get every aspect covered. They've got the bird flu, the cows, they've got the fires. Now they're coming after the deer.
Completely. It is just another, and that so this becomes a norm. They change narratives by weaving these things in, and then it's something close to, but it's not exactly your hamburgers. But eventually that'll be next, because they're going to start whittling that away to where the narrative is the norm, and then people accept that and say, well, I guess we should probably eat synthetic, meat or bugs or become vegan.
It's not safe to eat the real meat. We have to make fake meat because it's so much safer to let big pharma, big scientists like, big computer nerds like Bill Gates have total control over the food that we eat.
That's right. It's downright criminal. And I believe with this exposure, it's kind of like, if I was to use football terms, we were blocking and tackling the other day. Just simple stuff. We got to hold the line. It's not a complete victory. It wasn't a Hail Mary. We were blocking and tackling, and we're going to continue to block and tackle all throughout this state, because now that we're on to a new line of effort, not only the border but the deer fight. Look, we'll take any fight we can if it's against tyranny.
Yeah, just don't fall for it again, everybody. This is all just another facade. We've got an election coming up. They're going to do their best to get Trump in jail. They're going to do the best they can to get some loony bin as our president again. And so I just don't be fooled. Just we had Maria Z on with Todd on Truth Be Told, and she said, just go back to what you know for sure, that you have seen proven, that you've seen with your own eyes. Stick to reality and touch grass. Don't let these people all of a sudden put doubt in your head on the scientific method or testing methods and things like that. Did it make sense to stand 6 feet apart and to test your pets for COVID? No, it did not. And we all knew that, but a lot of us fell for it anyway. So just don't do it again, everybody. We've got to stand firm, do not comply on this again, or you give them an inch, they'll take 10 feet.
Yeah, I believe that more people are enlightened and won't do that, but there's still going to be the ones that are going to be triple masked, standing 45 feet apart, driving in their car. And
I just saw a
mask.
woman in Kansas. I live in Kansas. I just saw a woman yesterday by herself in her car with a mask on.
So it is a psychological attack, obviously, psyops. A lot of people, say, well, it's mass formations, psychosis, possibly, but that's kind of beyond us now. So I think it's just there are people that just live in a spirit of fear. And look, choose God, don't live in a spirit of fear. That's all I can tell you. You have power, you have love. That's how you live. Don't live in fear.
That's right. Fear is how they get you to do things you would normally never do in your own rational thinking mind. So as long as you're breathing and as long as you've got God behind you, you have really nothing to fear. And all things that happen are His will. So that's what we need to pray for. His will be done, whatever that may be. So
Yeah, that's awesome. Well, I'm getting here now. So hey, thank you so much for giving me the getting me on. It was a chore with the signals that we had, but thanks for doing that, and we'll see y'all again next week.
yep. Thank you. God bless you, Doc Pete. Goodbye.
Thanks, sister.